I used to lay awake at night, remembering the games I played as a kid and the consoles I played them on. I'd sleep and wonder if I'd ever get to play them again. I just got the Steam Deck, and my dreams, my memories, those consoles, they're all right here. Like me, you might have heard some hype surrounding the Steam Deck, a portable Linux PC with a built-in Steam UI. Attractive, for sure, but is it worth the price tag? It starts at $400 and gets up to $650. In a world where people still don't have PS5s or Xbox Series X's, why should I care about this device? Even a PS4 or an Xbox One outperforms the Steam Deck. The Nintendo Switch is comparably powerful, equally as portable, but also gives you access to Nintendo's lineup, which are games made specifically for that device, and therefore run perfectly for the hardware. The Steam Deck's library was not built for the Steam Deck, unlike Nintendo's. The Steam Deck, to me, seemed like the ugly stepchild to all of these options. Worse than any other console on the market, except for the Nintendo Switch, which has advantages the Steam Deck does not. Well, I was fucking wrong. And not just kind of wrong, dead wrong. Like, this is my new favorite console on the market wrong. Why? Well, that's what this video is about. Oh, and I'm ending this with a guide on how to get all the games I talk about here and more for free. So don't miss out on that. Let's go!
Wait a minute! Who are you?
You and I are lucky enough to be a part of the first generation of gamers who grew up with this art. We are all lucky enough to now be in a world where being a gamer is the mainstream. We grew up with the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, the Wii, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, all of them. All of these classics like Mario Party, every Pokemon, Super Mario Sunshine, Halo, Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, all of it. These are where we spent our childhood days. Unfortunately, the days of classic consoles are past us. Or are they? What if I told you you can play all consoles, all games, on one device, and that device was portable? That is what the Steam Deck is. It's everything, everywhere, all at once. It's every console, every game you might have enjoyed before 2018. I understand that people are hyping this console, but they're not doing it enough. I haven't had so much fun with one piece of tech since I got the Nintendo Wii day one. November 2012, baby. Never forget. Since getting the Steam Deck, I fulfilled the childhood promise I made to myself to one day defeat Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. Arguably the best RPG ever. Also, total pain in the ass if you're a kid and you don't know how to play RPGs, which I was. I finally played the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker remake on the Wii U, thus betraying my childhood belief that the graphics, they're just not good enough, and relived my childhood trauma of experiencing the most terrifying game to ever ship with a console day one, Luigi's Mansion. Wii Sports came close, came very close, but you know, we got through it. We got through it. With the Steam Deck, I'm immersed in gaming history, surrounded by the most spectacular of classics. But it's not just reliving your childhood. It's also catching all the games that you missed when you were younger. Who among us were lucky enough to have all the consoles, as well as a PC powerful enough to play those legendary early Steam games? Who among us doesn't have a gap in their gamer knowledge? Did you play the early Resident Evil? Early Smash Bros? Early Zelda? Early God of War? Early everything? Early any goddamn game you want? Few people have played everything they want. With the Steam Deck, you can.
Are you sure about that?
Can you play the new God of War Ragnarok on the Steam Deck? No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I haven't even tried. I don't know who would try that. It's a horrible idea. But that's not what it's made for. God of War Ragnarok comes out, the new Call of Duty, the new Resident Evil remake, new Plague Tale. Yeah, you have to have the newest consoles to truly enjoy those. And you should go and enjoy those. Those are contemporary games and they're spectacular in their own right. But what about during all those times when those games aren't coming out? In March through August, that few new AAA games come out. What do? Well, you pick up your Steam Deck and play a game that came out 15 years ago, but holds up. Do you know how liberating it is to have every game produced at your fingertips at all times? It's amazing! And I can't encourage you enough to play your favorite childhood games again as an adult. Some games age like fine wine. What you appreciated before, you might find new love for as an adult. And the Steam Deck gives you access to them again. Graphics don't make the game. There are a lot of games that came out 15, 20 years ago, and they're worth picking up. You should try them out. They're very good. All Nintendo games basically have a shelf life of forever. It's unbelievable. This video was inspired by me playing Luigi's Mansion again as a 26-year-old. Did you know, by the way, that in 2001, Nintendo shipped a Resident Evil game with their new console, the GameCube? Never heard of that? Well, that's because no one who played Luigi's Mansion was old enough to realize that it is 100% directly inspired by Resident Evil. The map is Resident Evil, the puzzles are Resident Evil, the backtracking is Resident Evil. They even have animations for opening doors. Like, are you kidding me? But Nintendo implemented accessibility that Resident Evil didn't implement until Resident Evil 2 Remake. In Luigi's Mansion, when you've cleared a room, the map will reference that with a unique color, so you know you've gotten everything you need from there. You're able to save almost constantly, health is everywhere, and resource management is basically non-existent. It gives you a score at the end that encourages replayability and skill acquisition, etc., etc. There's so much to this game. You should really play it. It's hilarious. You play as a cowardly Luigi just trying to find his older brother. You constantly call out his name like a ninny. You whistle along to the theme song in more tense moments, along with the ghosts who are hiding in the closets. The OST is bopping, by the way. It all just feels so personable and fun, and I get to play it in bed next to my wife. My childhood dreams viscerally coming to life right before my eyes. Playing GameCube in bed with my wife. I got another suggestion for you. Your favorite Pokemon game, whichever that is, but at 2x speed. Replaying Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, any entry at 1x speed is brutal. But you can map a 2x, 3x, 4x speed toggle to the back paddles of the Steam Deck remote. No more grinding, no more slow text scroll, no more annoyance from the random encounters, no more slow movement speed. Using the 2x speed hack means you can blaze through Pokemon Fire Red in maybe like 5 or 6 hours, or 5 or 6 lovely evenings in bed to wind down after a long day. It's just lovely. Bed is an important part. You're asking yourself, how does the Steam Deck do this? Welcome to the wonderful world of emulators. The device is literally a portable Linux PC, so it can emulate all those classic consoles. EmuDeck is the most convenient, unique, enjoyable emulator experience you can have. It has every device you could possibly need. I go deeper into that later, but first, we gotta dive into the indie games. Everything I just described is the tip of the iceberg. I have never owned a PC. I was an avid console loyalist, and moreover, only ever bought MacBooks for my personal computing. Having now bought the Steam Deck, the world of indie games has opened up before me. Suddenly, Steam isn't just like some far-off ghost that I can never catch. I am now able to play so many spectacularly unique and imaginative games that I never had access to before. We're talking the Stanley Parable, Papers, Please, Shovel Knight, To the Moon, Journey, Half-Life, and Disco Elysium. all in bed. I can't emphasize enough how spectacular it is to play these games in bed. It's my favorite place in the world, and suddenly I can play games I never had access to there. I didn't think bed could get better, but it just did. It should be a bed review. Another inspiration for me making this video is an indie game on Steam right now called Inscription. Inscription is like the video game The Outer Wilds, in that you can't describe it to someone without ruining it for them. I can't review this game because to do so would be to destroy the magic for other people. Despite the fact that it blew me away so destructively that all I want to do is tell people about this game, I can't. I want to go to the town square, get on my soapbox, and do a 3-act, one-man play about my love for Inscription. But I can't. All I can say is that it is a card-building roguelike that has more depth than you can possibly imagine, both in mechanics and story. It's like this game was made for the Steam Deck, by the way. It launched before the Steam Deck came out, so obviously it wasn't. The Steam Deck's touchscreen perfectly complements the card play and the atmosphere. Also, bed. So, enough said. Please pick this game up.
How did you know how to put this all together?
I had excellent help, as will you.
And best of all, especially for an old fart fuck like me, accessing all this content is so simple. For indie games, the Steam store is readily accessible via the home screen. For classic Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation games, you needed to download EmuDeck. EmuDeck is an app, it's more like a tool or a script. It's what I mentioned earlier, that you can download, which auto-installs and manages 160 emulators, as well as whatever supporting utilities your Steam Deck needs. It pre-configures all the controls, video and audio settings, the whole shebang. There's nothing you have to worry about. It takes care of all of it. If you want to get a little more manual with it, that's an option too. It's totally open to whatever shenanigans you want to get up to. It couldn't be more simple or easy though. They also support desktops now too, which is awesome. I love EmuDeck. I couldn't recommend them more. The YouTube channel Retro Gamecore has a spectacular guide on how to get the EmuDeck up and running. I've thrown the link to their channel below the like button. RG Core is doing the Lord's work, so check it out. Subscribe and let him know I sent you. It'd mean the world. That gets you all the emulators your little heart could possibly desire. For anyone who is worried about emulating old games, understand that it is perfectly legal for emulators of old consoles to exist and for you to have them. ROMs of old games are slightly different, but you're okay as long as you have a physical version of the game. You're good. Just don't worry about it.
Downloading films is stealing. If you do it, you will face the consequences.
That being said, I don't want anyone to potentially be downloading malicious software because you stumbled on a CD-ROM site. So I'll just do a random shout out here to Vim's Lair or vim.net. This is an online repository created with the express intent of preserving game classics. It's a community project built with the support of its patrons and masterminded by the legend Vim himself. Their mission is to keep games open, free, and preserved for anyone to enjoy. I'm not suggesting anyone go to their site or utilize it in any manner. I just wanted to show my admiration for their mission. The link for Vim's Lair, by the way, is below the share button. So slightly different from the last link, which was below the like button. This one's below the share button. So it's subtle difference. Also, a subreddit on Reddit are ROMs. They're all great lads. I haven't seen them steer anyone wrong since joining the community. If you have any questions, ask them there. That link, this final link, is above the comment section, but below the subscriber button. Just trying to be as precise as possible about where those links are. Oh, and click the subscribe button to let me know you found it. That's how I'll know. Playing these old games on the Steam Deck makes me feel like a kid again, in the best way. The childlike wonder at these marvelous games returns in spades. Video games have a long, beautiful history. While many simpler gamers believe that the best graphics make the best game, you and I know otherwise. We grew up playing games with the worst graphics by today's standards, and they inspired our love for this art form. I'm not suggesting you don't play God of War Ragnarok. Please, go play that game. Jesus Christ, why are you even here? But don't be satisfied with anything less than the best games ever made. In between Ragnarok and Modern Warfare, play some Luigi's Mansion for me. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.